The Business Bully podcast is being brought to you by Audible with over 180,000 books to choose from. Audible is the best way I know for you to get your life, get that knowledge, do what you got to do right now. Go to audibletrial.com/bully and get this work, people. Now, with any further ado, we'll go ahead and get this show started.
He's been an award-winning media personality and producer. As a speaker, he's empowered over 1 million people from the stage. Now, one of the leading brand experts and business coaches in the U.S. is bringing his unique brand of straight talk to the world of on-demand audio. It's the Business Bully Podcast. Now, here's the Business Bully himself, David Anderson.
So much for that applause. Welcome to the Business Bully Podcast. I am doing the situation live. Why? Damn it, because it's Sunday and I don't feel like it and I ain't got time during the week, man. Things are moving along very, very, very quickly. So thanks for everybody who is joining me live and listening to the show, and everybody who is on Facebook Live right now. Shout out to y'all. I see you. I do appreciate you. Today, I want to talk about a couple things. Okay? First and foremost, can we talk about what is wrong with society? And when I say that, I want to talk about specifics when it comes to not only business, but the way we view ourselves. And a lot of us have this thing where as though we don't get it. You don't get why some of us have drive and ambition and aren't afraid to go get it, and then most of you aren't. And that's not a put down, that's just a statement of fact. And it just dawned on me right before I decided to come on and get this podcast popping to let you know exactly what it is. I just literally figured this out. When I was a kid, it was about, I would say, what's up, Soji? I see you checking in the chat room. When I was a kid, I would say about maybe 4 years old, 4 years old. My parents divorced, moved from 3 Mile Island to Philly with my mom and my brother. My brother's 7 years older than I am. And I can remember my mother having very specific things she wanted me to do. And every day for at least 2 hours, I would sit in my room and she would want me to pretend and make believe and do things that were, I guess, kind of counterintuitive to most people. And so it forced me to use my imagination. And so I never saw myself as a small figure. I never saw myself as somebody who is just going to do the minimum, or somebody who is just going to kind of go along to get along. Like, to me, I always thought those people were like creepoids, like weirdos. Like, who does that? Like, who just sits around and just does nothing or just does the minimum to get by? That is what the problem is right now. Many of you do not have imagination. Because you don't have imagination, you don't know what to do. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, I was just like so upset because I know that there's so much out here for you. I know that there's so many things that you could be doing, but the truth of the matter is you're not doing them because you're scared. You know, Lil Jon has a song called Bia Bia, and my favorite part of that song is when he says, you scared. You scared. Stop acting like a bitch. You scared. So many times we act like bitches because we don't know that we're strong. We've never gotten in touch with that thing inside of us that protrudes strength. And because we don't have that strength that we need in order to get to the next level, we kind of just coast, or we get to what we feel is a good place with a steady job or a nice house, decent car, okay kids, and we say, oh, okay, well, this is just as good as it gets. And I'm sorry, no, it's not. And I look at why I am the way that I am. A lot of it was because I had to spend time with myself. Another part of that was that I had to understand that I was going to be looked on as different. To this day, there are people in my life who will say, oh, you know, you think you walk on water. You think you're special. And I'm like, yeah, why don't you? Why don't you think you're special? Who told you that you need permission from somebody else to feel special? Who told you that you needed to be this face amongst the crowd that nobody ever notices? I knew from a very early age that there were only two types of people in the world. There were people who were on that stage, on that TV, on that radio, on that billboard, in that magazine, in that book, and then there was the audience. And I never wanted to be the audience. I wanted people to pay to see me. Now, you can call that arrogant, you can call that foolish, you can call it whatever it is. But I had a conversation with Russ Parr when I was about 20 years old. For those of you who do not know who Russ Parr is, he is a radio personality who's also a comedian, recording artist, film producer. He's done a lot of things. And the one thing that he said to me, and it sticks to me to this day, and this is a good 20 years ago, this man said, radio is the only business where you have to sit inside of a box for 4 hours and say, you know what? What I have to say is so important that other people are going to want to hear it. It takes a special kind of mind to do that. So it's okay to be special. It is okay to be different. It's okay to be weird. It is not okay to play it safe. You get one go around on this thing. 2 things I know about life. Number 1, it's short. Number 2, no one gets out of it alive. So what you get out of your life is what you put into your life. And what you put into your life should not be predicated on the experience, expectation, and judgments of others. Because when it is, I swear to God, you will continue to play smart. Do you know what cool is? Let's talk about cool for a minute. Now, for those of you who usually listen to this show, I try not to rant, but today I'm on one, so you're just going to have to let me rock. I'm going to bring it back to business, but we need to talk about this for a minute. Cool is what everybody else says, what everybody else does, what everybody else wears. So great. Cool is being a slave. So apparently now slavery is cool. Because you're a slave to your wardrobe, you're a slave to your weave, you're a slave to your hair, you're a slave to your shoes, you're a slave to that job, you're a slave to that car, you're a slave to what your parents' expectations are of you, and you're grown. You're a slave to what you think your significant other or not so significant other thinks that you should be, and you're grown. You are a slave to everyone but to your dream. I'm a slave to my dream. I am. Does not make me better than anybody. It just makes me more aware. Because I know that tomorrow, this game is over. Just that quick. Because I always say there is no tomorrow, and at any time you can get snuffed out of here. People talk about, such and such was here today and going tomorrow. No, such and such can be here today and going today, and that applies to your ass too. So stop sitting up here thinking that you got all this time and maybe I'll get around to it. I have yet, in all of my travels, and I've been to quite a few places, I have yet to go into any store and see a round to it. I ain't seen that. Also, I don't know these people who have eyes on their asses, but I keep hearing about butt eye, butt eye, butt eye. You got a bunch of butt eyes, you ain't doing nothing. Let me take a call. Yo, it's the Business Bully Show. Who's on the phone? Yo, don't go messing up my show now. What up? Where you at, though? I hate this when this happens. The people that they're talking and they can't hear me and I don't know what's going on, but they're not saying anything.
Hello?
Yo. What up? I don't know why people can't hear me. Why aren't you talking? See, this is what I hate about doing this show live, because sometimes folks they call in or something happens or it's not where it needs to be. Shout out to everybody in the chat room coming in. I need y'all to really start thinking logically about yourselves, and looking at what you're doing, because some of it just ain't right. Some of it just ain't adding up. Some of it just doesn't make any sense, and you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for what's coming next. You got to be prepared for what it is. Like, to me, I know that I need more out of my life than what I'm currently getting. And this is another misconception. Who told y'all I was rich? Who started spreading that lie? You never heard me say that. You don't see me going to the tarmac and flying private. Now, there were times when I have been able to do that, but that's because I was working for or with somebody else that was rich, but I am not rich. I am not a rich man. Let me get this clear. Not rich at all. Still grinding every day. And it's just like Andre 3000 say, if you don't move your feet, then we don't eat, so we like neck and neck. So just because you think I may be doing a little bit better or I'm a little bit more assured of myself and my dreams and I'm going for it, don't think that I don't have nightmares. Don't think that I don't worry about making sure that my family eats. Those are still worries for me. Those are things that keep me up at night. So please get out of here with this, oh, well, he's rich and he's got it easy, so he don't know what it is. No. I'm not rich, but I ain't poor either. And I don't make any apologies for that because I know what it is like to be poor. I know what it is like to sleep in a truck. I know what it's like to pray to God you got enough in the daggone ashtray of your truck to get something off the dollar menu from McDonald's and hope that that holds you for the next 2 days. So don't sit up here and start acting like, this ain't no struggle, or I don't know what struggle is. I'm not quite in the 1% yet, but I'm getting there. Tanisha just said, rich but not financially in the 1% yet. Hey, man, let me tell you something. I am rich in love. I am rich in knowledge. I am rich in the comfort of being in this beautiful brown skin that makes me me. But here's the truth. And y'all ain't going to like what I'm about to say, because a lot of what I'm about to say is going to hurt you and offend you deeply. I apologize in advance. If you want to click off after hearing this, if you want to unsubscribe after hearing this, I don't blame you. But the truth of the matter is, 95% of you listening to me will never take action because of 2 words. Your mama. You're so worried about your mama that nothing ever happens. You're so worried about what mama gonna say, and mama did all them sacrifices, and mama did this and this, that, and the other. You sound like the damn water boy. Mama said that the reason that the alligators are so ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Well, to quote that professor who looked like Colonel Sanders, mama's wrong again. Fuck mama. I am sorry. I know that that's not popular. Fuck mama. And I mean that with all due respect, even to my own mother. In a metaphorical way, I had to tell my own mother to go fuck herself. And here's what I mean. When I was 21 years old, I was working as a regional credit manager at a place called Sears. Maybe you've heard of it. But they had a call center in the Neshaminy Interplex. And at that call center, I was dealing with credit and so on and so forth. And I was having a good time. I was making more money than most 22-year-olds at the time. But I was miserable. I was making a living, but I was not making a life. And then I had made a call, and I had been at this job for about 3 months. This is after I left Power 99 the first time, unceremoniously, by the way. And I had a conversation. I was pouring my heart out to Russ Parr, and Russ Parr said, "You willing to move?" And I stopped for a second. Like in my head, I had like an hour-long conversation. Like, shit, what happens if I move? What will my mom say? My brother just had this kid. I ain't gonna really be there for my niece. I don't know what the hell to do. What should I do? And then 2 seconds later, in real time, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to move. Russ, what's up? He said, give me a minute, and I'm gonna call you right back. 5 minutes later, he called me back. He said, you're going to Fayetteville, North Carolina. They got a position down there to do afternoons. I don't know a damn thing about Fayetteville, North Carolina. They flew me down there to meet with the people. I met with them. They made me an offer. It was more than enough money for me to get out on my own and do what I needed to do. So that's what I did. So, my mother, and I love my mother, and she will tell you that I love her. She is my only living parent. She is 70 years old. She is retired. She is in Arizona having water aerobics every day, playing mahjong, and enjoying her 70-year-old life, and damn it, she's earned it. My mother will tell you how this went, and she will tell you that I'm telling the truth. So if you see my mama online, or you happen to bump into my mama if you're in Arizona, ask her. Ask Miss Anderson what it is. Because I said this. I said, Mom, I'm going to North Carolina. Oh, my God. You know, the Klans down there and those people, and they will lynch you and they will kill you. And while those things do happen, you know, I said, Mom, I got to do this for me. And sure enough, I went down there. And I was there for about 8 months. Me and the program director, we fell out. I came back home. That's when I started working for PromoWorks, which led me to work with Red Bull. Okay, so that was the whole advent of that. Then I got another call from another place in North Carolina that had heard my tapes when I was at the other place in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and they said, listen, we want you down there. So I said, Mom, I'm going back to North Carolina. She's like, oh my God, didn't you just get your ass handed to you down there? I said, I got to do it. I got a dream. So I'm there in this place in North Carolina. I get a call from Nashville. It's about 3 years later. Guy says, come on to Nashville. I said, dude, I ain't coming to Nashville. Y'all got Confederate flags and every damn thing else, honky-tonk and country music and cowboys, cancel Christmas. I ain't going. So I hung up on this man 3 times. I keep telling y'all the significance of 3. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Never mind. I'll get to that later. Here's the truth. I literally hung up on this man 3 times. On the 4th time, he said, listen, I am not going to press you. He basically hit me with that Music Soul Child. I'm not gonna pressure you. Just can't stop thinking about you. I said, all right, cool. He said, look, fly down here. I'm going to show you around. Worst case scenario, you get a free weekend on me in a town you didn't really want to be in, but I'm going to show you some things, and I guarantee you by the time I'm done with you, you're going to run to Nashville, Tennessee. And I was like, well, hell, it's your plane ticket. Why the hell not? So I hop on a plane, I go down there, and what he does is he takes me to every place in Nashville I didn't know. I didn't know about, the fact that it's music city, not just country music city. It ain't that stuff you see with Hayden Panettiere and all that. It is it's a really chocolate town, depending on where you are. And he said, look, you can stay in this apartment complex. It's all expenses covered in your rent. You don't have to worry about utilities, any of that. So do that. And I was like, not bad. And then he gave me like 10 grand more than what I was making in North Carolina. So I'm like, well, we're moving on up to the east side. So I'm like, I'm fish, don't fry in the kitchen. So it's the first thing I do. Mama. Hey, Mom, listen. I just got back from Nashville. You went to Nashville? Yeah, Mom, I went to Nashville. You didn't say anything? Well, Mom, I'm grown. What were you doing in Nashville? Well, Mom, here's what I was doing in Nashville. They gave me a deal. They gave me a contract. It's going to be this much this year, this much that year, this much the next year. She was like, you're going deeper and deeper into the buckle of the Bible Belt. I don't know. And I said, Mom, I got a dream. I'm going. And like that, I left North Carolina. And I moved with my 96 Chevy Cavalier attached to the back of a U-Haul. And I stopped at a truck stop. And this truck stop was so, like, if you've ever seen Deliverance, it was straight up, bang, 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 bang. It was so damned country and racist that my burger started not to taste right. And what wound up happening was I said, you know what? I'm getting a couple looks here, and the waitress gave me my check, and she was like, you might want to get out of here, sweetie, because everybody's not too friendly to your kind around here. So I said, okay. I got my ass back in that U-Haul with my 96 Cavalier, and I took my ass all the way to Tennessee, and I didn't stop until for the first time I heard the Ignition remix on the radio station that I was going to be working on. And I stayed in Nashville, Tennessee. And I worked, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked, and I worked. And from there, I got fired because they flipped the format and they didn't think a young black kid who had box seats, listen to this, box seats to the Nashville Predators, which is a hockey team, could possibly handle sports talk radio. Even though the majority of my radio experience, if we're being truthful, is in talk radio. Thousands of people listen to this show because I'm talking, but okay, let's just deal with what it is. You're a Negro, we don't want you. So I'm sitting in this apartment that I'm getting ready not to be able to afford anymore because, well, damn it, the checks ain't coming in. And I get a call, because I put out tapes everywhere. I get a call from a guy, and it's an old, bald-headed Republican guy named Dusty Hayes. And Dusty Hayes says, yeah, I'm looking for Taz. And I'm like, well, that's me. He's like, yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas. We're doing something different. We got Howard Stern on in the morning, but the rest of the day is hip hop, and I'm looking for a midday guy. You interested? I'm like, yeah, why not? So here I am going to Texas. So I go to Austin, and I'm the assistant program director there, and I'm working for CBS. I'm making more money than I ever had. I had an even better contract with bonuses and first, second, third place, also crazy stuff in it, right? But then the station gets sold from CBS and gets spun off to someplace else. And I got to start making moves. Let me stop the story for a second. Business Bully Show, what up? Yo. And they hang up. See, people get scared. Anyway, so I get I got to move again. So I start to look for different things, and then all of a sudden, there's an opening at K104 in Dallas. So I take that. So I call my mom. I'm like, look, Mom, Austin ain't working out. I'm about to bounce to Dallas. Dallas? Oh my God! She's like, I love the show, but you know the show ain't what it's like. That like they'll kill you. Needless to say, you know what I did. Bam! Off and on my way to Dallas. Lost that job, wound up going across the street to the competitor, and that is the second time I run into a man named Ricky Smiley. The first time was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he paid me out his pocket to open up for him. So things come full circle, and we're rocking and rolling, and we get into syndication, and everything is rolling. The point of it is, I kept going no matter what happened, and even though that situation didn't work out, and I wound up homeless and hungry and starving and all those things, I went for it, and I continue to go for it. Now I know what your conditioned brain is thinking. You're thinking, well, Dave, that's a cool story and all, but you're not in radio anymore, and so you gave up on the dream. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Let's just review. One of the youngest African Americans get paid to do radio. Me. One of the youngest African Americans, if not the youngest African American, to not executive produce not one, not two, but 3 nationally syndicated shows. Me. R&R radio show, morning show of the year. Me. 30 Under 30 award, me. I did everything in my career that I wanted to do, and it was time for a new dream because I outgrew the dream. And here's the lesson. Here's the real thing that's really going to get your noodle frying in a minute. Sooner or later, you're going to get too big for your britches. You outgrow your clothes when you're a child and you start to blossom into adulthood. You're going to outgrow situations, and sometimes when you outgrow situations, you outgrow people. You outgrow friends. You outgrow relationships. Yes, you outgrow marriages, and if you're doing it right, you outgrow mama. Stop living for mom and worrying about whether mom is going to be happy with what you did or what you didn't do. Stop waiting for people. Let me tell you something. Robert De Niro said in a movie, I can't think of which one off the top of my head, but he said, I don't get attached to anything that I can't leave in 15 seconds flat. Bye. T.D. Jakes said, your destiny is not tied to anyone that would leave you. There is a gift in goodbye. Sometimes you need to say goodbye to people. Be like NSYNC, bye, bye, bye. See y'all later. I'm out. But you don't want to do that because some of y'all are so in love. I mean, you're making love to certainty. You're making love to status quo because that's easy for you. It is easy to be certain. It is easy to just know how everything is going to line up from day to day to day. But if you want to be successful in business, there is no certainty. It's not like gambling. People always give me this gambling metaphor because in gambling, the house always wins. In business, good percent of people who stick with it wind up winning. But you're scared to win. You're scared to take that risk. You're scared of what your mama going to think, your baby mama going to think, your baby daddy going to think, your co-workers going to think, well, you know, such and such left before we got this brand new bonus structure in our commissions. Wonder what they're doing now. Probably getting ready to win and be epic. While you get that nice little commission and bonus structure, no one's going to erect a statue to you. No one's going to give you an award outside of that company. And damn it, no one's going to remember you existed. You're just a number. Oh, which brings me to another thing. For those of you who are cubicle jockeys, and that's all you do, and it's not serving a bigger purpose, HR. HR is there to protect the company. It is not there to protect you. So you can go running and snitching to HR all you want to. Unless somebody's pitching your ass or something, it ain't going to make a hill of beans of difference. And even with that, HR only want to know so they can prepare themselves to deal with that lawsuit and settle out of court if they can. Why are we so scared? We're so scared because we're looking for approval from people who don't approve of themselves. Do you have any idea how insane that is? You know, they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. No, insanity is looking for approval from people who don't approve of themselves. Looking for happiness in people who are not happy with themselves. Investing everything into people who are not investing in you. That's insanity. And half of y'all need some straight jackets and some soft padded walls right now. They say that people should not be able to succeed. But people succeed in spite of that. Why? Because they don't give a rat's ass what you have to say. If I had to rely on your opinion for my next meal, then yeah, I would care. But because I don't, I don't. That's it. Fridge is full of food. I'm about to go get me some spring water in a minute. Matter of fact, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to be right back right here on the Business Bully Show, all right? Yeah.
He's one of the leading business coaches and branding experts in the US, generating millions of dollars for brands like Nutrisystem, The Ricky Smiley Morning Show, iHeartMedia, and Les Brown. He's impacted over 1 million people from the stage. Now, best-selling author David Anderson releases his latest book, Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat, a practical guide to sales dominance. Learn how to fear of selling, how to get people to buy from you, and more. This book will motivate and inspire you to unleash the sales beast inside of you. Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat by David Anderson is available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
Yes, indeed. We are back right here on the Business Bully Show. And of course, I need to remind you of my good friends at Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/bully. and get your free 30-day trial and free audiobook download right now, man. There's a lot of titles on there. I love my Audible, man. It's so amazing. Like, I have all types of books. And I don't just read, typical stuff. There's stuff I like from other folks. Like, people like, well, what do you think of Gary Vee? I love Gary Vee. I read Crush It. I read Crush It, probably twice a year. It's a really good book. If you haven't read it, you can get that for the free on the Champ. You're welcome. For those of you who don't want to always have business in your brain, you can go on to audibletrial.com/bully and get something like Chronicles of Narnia. You can get Lord of the Rings. You got Star Wars books, the whole nine. But right now, I'm going to get back to this show. audibletrial.com/bully. Welcome back to the Business Bully Show, people. Listen, man. I am so upset at people who just want to get by. And I'm sick of the butt eyes. I talked about this before. There is no eyes on your ass. I looked. You have no eyes sprouting out of your ass. You're not a potato. So stop talking about, but I, or I feel like. What your feelings got to do with money? Nothing. I don't go and say, oh, you know what? Hey, Mr. Credit Card. Hey, Mr. Wells Fargo. How do you feel about me spending this money? It's not talking back. Hey, Mr. MasterCard. Well, how do you feel about me spending this money? I'm not talking back either. So, stop putting your feelings in the way of financial decisions. Let me check in this chat room real quick. LaShonda says, haha, I was a casino dealer, now social worker, cubicle jockey, now pursuing in my dream hard, still waiting on the call, Dave. LaShonda, I got you. I don't think you understand. Like, I'm not just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. I'm really not. And, I got to get better on this. But my days are limited. Right now, I'm writing a book. I'm working on a TV show. I'm also getting ready to do principal photography for my documentary. I got articles to turn into all hip-hop. I've got interviews to do about the Pokemon Go book, about Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat. Like, I'm not just sitting around, and I'm still, like, doing corporate trainings and things of that nature. So there's a lot of stuff going on that my time is not my own as much as it is. Oh, and, top it all off, I have kids and whatnot. So there's that. Now, I want to see if there's any questions in here that I missed. Anything that I wanted to get down on. Yep. Some of y'all do need to get out your feelings. That's right, Enrique. I definitely appreciate you talking about that. Let's see here. Still working hard over here, being patient is what LaShonda says. So listen, this is what I want you to do. And this is totally optional. You can do whatever you want. But I'm going to tell you that this is going to change your life if you do it. All right? I don't believe in getting up, getting up at 7 p.m. and working until 2 a.m. I feel like that's totally needless. And then you're going to be tired and fatigued for your job. Then you're going to be fired before you're ready to make something happen. That's what crazy people do. And people who tell you that are only telling you that because they're rich and they don't have to do that shit. So, let's talk about something real and something tangible. Get up. Okay, do this. Go to bed 2 hours earlier than you normally would. And I mean, go to bed. Don't sit up here and just lay in bed and watch reruns of Power on your DVR, or don't sit up here and watch who Stevie J is sleeping with. I don't care. What I want you to do is literally go to bed, power down the TV, turn off the phone. I mean, and don't put it on vibrate either. Put it on silent. Like, be like Silento. Just watch me click. And then go to sleep. Then get up 2 hours earlier than you normally would. And in those 2 hours, because you slept an extra 2 hours and you're up 2 hours early, so you're not missing anything, in those 2 hours, that's when you work 5 days a week. Now, on the weekends, pick one day where it's strictly leisure and you do nothing. Then pick the other day, and that's when you work for the week. Like, work your ass off. Okay? For me, Sunday is my day where I do a lot of work. I'll work on my writing. I'll work on client projects. Because I do still have some one-on-one clients. Not as many as I used to because, well, number one, the price went up, and number two, the time went down. You feel me? So anything that I have to do for clients, I kind of try to do on those days so that I have everything set for the week. Because a lot of you are putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. There's two types of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them, wherever you are in this particular race. There are those who work so hard that nothing gets done, and there's so many who work not enough and nothing gets done. You got to work smart. You still got to be passionate about what you're doing. You got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health. Listen, man, I'm on this water real hard right now. And I'm from Philly, so I said water. I know there's no R in water. Leave me alone. There's one at the end, but not in the middle. Leave me alone. Water. And it's delicious. And I buy basic water. You ain't get no fancy water from me because Dasani puts salt in their water to make you buy more. But that's an hour show I can talk about later. It's so funny. Like, one of my clients, right? She actually mentors my oldest daughter. And it's cool because it's like, wow, I'm mentoring somebody that's mentoring my kid. And she's absolutely awesome. Yes, indeed. So, that's what it is. Paula said, price went up, time went down. I love it, Business Bully. Yes, it did. And that's another thing. Why are y'all so scared to raise your prices? If you know what you do is priceless, raise your prices. Here's what I mean. 80% of people go through their whole career. You've heard me say this if you've ever watched any of my radio interviews. 80% of people go their whole careers never, ever asking for a raise. Okay? That's one. Two, entrepreneurs never expand or grow because they are afraid to raise their prices. Let me tell you something. Treat it like this. Treat it like you're taking the house that is your business and you're moving it to a higher district. And in that higher district, there's still water bills and there's still trash and there's still electricity and there's still cable. But when you go outside, there's no crack vials. When you go outside, everybody's watering their lawn. When you go outside, there's a dog park across the way. It's a lot different in this neighborhood. Even though the things that you're doing are pretty much the same, you're moving up. And if you know that your value is worth more, you need to start raising your rates more. Here's why. For those of you who think that I'm crazy and I can't double my rates, I can't command more, I just don't know how I'm going to do that. But I got a kitty cat here and I'm going to love him and hug him and squeeze him and I'm going to name him George. Here's what I mean. You can literally right now do some quick math. If you're working a job and at that job you are in sales or you are doing something, I'm sure, to help that job go. If you were to look at the mathematics behind what it costs to put you in that seat to work versus the amount of revenue you bring in, and you look at the fact that you're not even making a tenth of that, so what you're doing for an employer brings massive value, and you're settling for less than a tenth of what you're worth. But you won't ask for a tenth of what you're going to make somebody in your client coaching and consulting business. You're stupid. I am so sorry. And I get it because I was stupid for a long time. I was stupid for a long time because I believe that because of my past and my background, because I came from radio, that I didn't have anything to offer. And then I remember there's a whole lot of people who came from radio who have a lot to offer out here. I look at people like Colby Kolb, who was big in Philly at one particular point in time. He's like the VP over at Radio 1. I look at Hurricane Dave. He runs all of Atlanta. There are people like Russ Parr who is doing like films. You can go on Netflix right now. They were in theaters, now they're on Netflix or on cable, and he's producing them and writing them. Like, I look at people like that and I'm like, yeah, you know, they came from the same place I came from, worked them same shifts that I worked, and they're making things happen. You gotta stop looking like there's something wrong with wanting more. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. What's wrong is you're told to play it safe. You're told not to rock the boat. You're told not to make waves. What the hell is a splash pool for if it ain't to make waves? In life and business ain't nothing but one big splash pool. Make some waves. Any way you slice it, you put a boat in the water, it's getting wet. Real rap. So don't let that discourage you. Be encouraged by that. Please be encouraged by that. Hold on, we're going to be right back. I am going to take another quick little break, and I'll be right back with you.
He's one of the leading business coaches and branding experts in the US, generating millions of dollars for brands like Nutrisystem, The Ricky Smiley Morning Show, iHeartMedia, and Les Brown. He's impacted over 1 million people from the stage. Now, best-selling author David Anderson releases his latest book, Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat, a practical guide to sales dominance. Learn how to conquer fear of selling, how to get people to buy from you, and more. This book will motivate and inspire you to unleash the sales beast inside of you. Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat by David Anderson is available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, or wherever fine books are sold.
Yes, we're back. It's my show, damn it. If I want to take a quick commercial break real quick, I can do that. Anyway and anyhow, don't be afraid to do more. Don't be afraid to be great. It's okay. I promise. You ain't going to hurt nobody. You really ain't. You will be fine. You will understand that in the grand scheme of things, it's cool. Like, you will do more in your life than you ever realized it was possible for you to do. Simply because you're making things happen. You know, and it's okay if things aren't going exactly how you would like them to go. That is totally alright. What isn't alright is you not being willing to push. You got to be willing to push, and a lot of y'all ain't willing to push. I don't mind pushing. You know, I don't mind pushing at all, simply because it's what I'm here to do. I'm here to, you know, make the system better. I'm here to shake things up, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I wish more people would do that. You know, because if they did, you would be a lot happier with your life. You know, but we don't. We'd rather just sit back and play it safe and could you woo, and that's not going to get you anywhere. I'm going to tell you that right now. It just ain't. I wish it would, but it's not, you know. And then, if you knew that you would be successful, what would your holdup be? So many of you are so caught up on stuff that just don't add up. Like, it just don't add up. Like, it's not even real. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're scared about stuff that may never, ever happen. What if I fail? So what if you fail? Are you dead? Get your ass up and do it again. Well, what if what if my significant other leaves me? Then you'll get another significant other. Keep it pushing. It's okay. It is all right. Don't be afraid to do more. Don't be afraid to be more. Don't be afraid to go get more. Because you know what? There's more out there. I promise you that. It's a lot more out there. You know, I wish I had $1 for every time somebody told me that they, were afraid to go for it. I really do, because I'd be like uber rich by now. Because y'all are scared, man, and I don't think you should be. But you are. I don't know why, but you are. You know, I feel like life is kind of short, and I want you to do more. And I want you to be okay with doing more. And I want you to know that that's what it looks like. You know, it's all right to just get by. You know, you got to be willing to do that. And please, do yourself a favor. this is going to seem so counterintuitive for what I do that when I say it, you're going to be like, why in the world is he saying that? I'm going to tell you. Some of y'all got some really crappy business coaches. I mean crappy. Some of y'all got business coaches can't even pay their bills. Crappy. Some of y'all business coaches that would rather just put y'all in a group, talk to y'all once a week, not even offer a replay for that conference call, but still they taking thousands of dollars from you for their group, making claims that they can't possibly back up. Stop that. And then some of y'all got coaches that are so afraid that if anybody has an opinion contrary to them, they're ready to cry and moan and bitch and talk trash, but not really looking like everything does not work for everyone. I'm not a one-size-fits-all dude. I will tell you that. I don't make any bones about that. But there are people who feel like their way is the only way and it's the only way that will ever work. And I'm like, if your way was so great, why don't I see you anywhere? As much as I do not like Justin Timberlake, he was like, yeah, I was looking for you on the charts last week. Oh, that's right, you weren't there. In other words, how are you going to sit up here and talk about your way is the only way, but you're not winning? If you're not winning, why are you talking? That's all I want to know. If you're not winning, why are you talking? I mean, to me, that just seems like one of those questions that's just like, dun, dun, dun. If you're not winning, why are you talking? You have nothing to say. You really don't. So I just want to kind of know, like, you know, what's going on. Let me see something here. I want to see if whoever this person was who called and hung up, I want to see what the heck they want. Like, what you want? Yeah, we calling people. I will call your phone. Yep, just calling you. Don't be scared now. Get a call. You gonna answer. See, whoever it was, they ain't picking up the phone now. They scared. They are scared. Let's call this number. That's right. I'm calling people back. Why? Just cause. That's why. And when we let it ring.
Hello?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, family, man?
Yo, what's up, T. Smitty? You on the air, bro? What's happening with you?
Man, I'm glad. Hey, should have made sure you got my good side first, you know.
I'm with you, brother. What's happening?
First, mom says hi.
Hey, what's up, T. Smitty's mom?
Yeah. All right. Couple of things that I want to point out. I know you're the business bully.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to point out something for people out there who still thinking you go to college, you work hard, and all that stuff. If you look at the numbers now, most of your jobs now, people have got no choice but to work at call centers now. Mm-hmm. And who in the hell, in their right mind, want to sign up to go to college and end up working at a call center?
Hey,
and we all know call centers are like wearing ankle bracelets on you, like the house arrest bracelet.
That's vicious.
And so one thing that I, got my notary commission, right? Got that the other day.
Oh, yeah, you did? You got that?
Yeah, I got it. And,
give it up for T. Smitty right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yes, please continue, Mr. Notary.
Yes, and I didn't realize, because this brother, I dropped name, Andre Hatchet, for us. I know you probably heard of him.
Yep.
And it's like, I just paid $20 to had 4 videos off course. And so you got to drop the money out there in the sites to put yourself out there. And it's like, you could probably do a job for $50. You do 3 or 4 of those a day. You could possibly make a little bit more than you could at your job. Mm-hmm. And one question I would have is, how would you market something like that? You try to pitch yourself on that type of stuff.
Yo, like that's a great question, and I like it a lot. There's a couple of things I would do. First and foremost, just off the top of my head, I would also go to any place that would really need a notary. Like the one place that I know always needs notaries, the people in court. hang out at the courthouses. I'd hang out around the courthouses. I'd have I would take a couple dollars and invest in some type of banner campaign. When I say banner, I don't mean typical banner. I mean if there's benches outside the courtroom where you can advertise, do that outside. You know what I mean? Because there's always somebody looking for a notary. I'd be like, Mr. Mobile Notary, I'll come to you in 30 minutes or less. Something silly like that. Because there's always going to be somebody looking for a notary. Always. Mm-hmm. People need to get documents notarized. People have prize winnings, things of that nature. Let them know. And I would find out places because this is what people don't do, because somebody told them wrong. So I'm going to break this myth right now. I'm over here myth busting and bullying at the same time. Advertising on the television, cheap. You can get it next to nothing, especially local ads, and you can do it through cable. Don't go to the radios. Don't go to TV stations. Don't go to TV stations. Go to the cable company in your area and say that you want to advertise to this demographic that has this amount of money, this. And then wherever, you see places like J.G. Wentworth or any type of those places where you know that if people have structured settlements or they have to deal with lawyers, that 9 times out of 10, they are going to need a notary. Mm-hmm. Right now and yesterday, I would partner with hospice care organizations, because there's always going to be somebody who's going to need an affidavit. There's always somebody who's going to need power of attorney, and all those things have to be notarized. Boom, boom, bang. I would have stuff in the barbershop. I would pay the barber a couple dollars extra and be like, yo, man, listen. Every time something, just mention, look, anybody need a notary? Call my man T. Smitty. He'll come to you. This, that, and the third. Because, look, man, people always run their mouth about their whole life in the barbershop. I don't get it, but they do. Those are places that I would go off the top of my head in order to try and drum up business. And then I would start doing things that most notary people don't do. There's a reason that I do videos, consistently. Because when I do videos consistently, it drives traffic. When it drives traffic, then my email list grows. When my email list grows, then I can make more money by getting more coaching clients who can pay what I'm making. You know what I mean? So yeah, start making those videos. Let people know, these are the things that notaries do that people don't think about. So that the second largest search engine in the world is YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine. Google, YouTube. And YouTube, in case you're keeping score, ladies and gentlemen, are owned by Google.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's what I do. And I put certain keywords in there: notary public, legal questions, mobile notary, things like that people are going to search for, and go from there. I'd also take out a small Facebook ad campaign, and I don't have the type of time to get into how that breaks down, because I'm still learning Facebook as far as the advertising side goes. I'm a big believer in say what you know and know what you don't, and pay people to teach you what you don't know, or pay people to do what you don't know, and then try to get an understanding by osmosis. So, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's what I would do if it were me and I were you, because it's a money grab. Because the old farts who are doing it, they ain't gonna do it. Mm-hmm. Them old farts, they ain't gonna be about that.
Yeah, and one thing is that what happens is people say, well, you don't charge as much, but you charging for the convenience fees. And a lot of times people will pay, let's say, $50 for a page, because they don't have to worry about going to the bank and UPS store, because people working.
You know what? You just reminded me of something very critical. And I might have told you the story because you and I happen to be friends, but I want to tell it again in case you never heard it. Do you know why I do what I do?
Because you want us to reach our potential.
Partially, yes. But there's one particular person I do this for. And it's not me, it's not my wife, it's not my kids. I had a situation where I think my wife's Honda at the time wasn't starting, and so I called AAA. And I like to talk to people. I've always been that person who will talk to anybody about anything, because you never know when your next opportunity is going to come. You never know who is the man standing next to the man standing next to the man. So I'm friendly with everybody. I've had conversations with Grand Dragons of the Clan and had no problems. I don't care who you are. I'm going to talk to you. So I'm talking to the auto club guy. He comes out and he's checking the thing, and I think he gave my wife's battery a recharge. And I said, "So do you like what you do?" It's a question that I ask everybody because most people will never ask anybody that question. They think it's intrusive and rude. I don't. I think it's an opportunity to start talking about what we can do for some business here. So I said, "Do you like what you do?" And he was like, "No, not really." So my next question to this young man, he's a young African-American brother, probably around the age of 23. I said, "How old are you?" He said, "About 23. I said, "Okay, cool." I said, "What is your dream?" And he looked at me as if I said, "Congratulations, you won the lottery." Now, I didn't offer him anything yet. I didn't give him a plan yet. I just asked him what his dream was. And it told me something. It told me that the majority of people in this world do not get the opportunity to tell anybody their dreams. And so he lit up like a kid on Christmas. I wish you could see it. It was like a light went off in his eyes, and he was like, "Man, all I really want out of life, man, I love fixing cars. I'm a certified mechanic. I do this, because it's money, and I work for this guy, and he's nice and all, but I want to do my own thing." I said, He said, "What?" I said, "I got an idea. Give me a second." So I took about 10 seconds, and I said, "I got it." He said, "What? What do you got?" I said, "This is what you're going to do." I said, "You're going to rock this job probably for the next 2 months. And in that time, what I want you to do is start looking at these mobile auto parts suppliers that come in and out of the Firestone and the Pep Boys and the Midases and get their information. And what you're going to do is fix people's cars while they wait. It's a little different than what you're doing at AAA, because at AAA you're doing stuff like fixing flats and recharging batteries. You're not doing anything heavy duty. And it's not like you can sit up here and do a whole lot, but you can change a brake system. You can flush an engine, and anything else you need to do, you can always rent out a bay in somebody else's garage who'd be happy to have the money, because they're getting swallowed up by these major corporations like Firestone and Midas and so on and so forth. And it was if I had told a caveman, not only am I going to give you fire, I'm going to give you tiki torches, gasoline, and fucking lighter fluid for the rest of your life. That, I'm telling you, he damn near teared up on me. Yeah. And it's because of that dude. I remember his name because he has the same name as my brother. His name was Aaron. And Aaron now has about 3 different mechanics under him who go out and they do mobile fix-it stuff with people's cars. That's why I do what I do. Because somebody's got to give you rat bastards permission to be great. Shit ain't about me. I'm not that arrogant. I promise. I don't care what your girlfriend says about me. We just didn't work. But no, seriously. No, I literally, I'm only serious, T. Smitty. No, I'm kidding. But no, I am. But no, seriously, I do this for that. Because sometimes you just need somebody to give you permission to go do it. I feel like I'm a business permission slip for people. I'm going to sign it because your mama won't, because you so scared of your damn mama. Not you, T. Smitty. You and your mom have a phenomenal relationship. She's a very encouraging lady. I love her to death. But I'm speaking metaphorically to the masses out here who ain't moving their asses out here. Y'all need somebody to tell you it's okay to go for it. Go for it. Go do that shit right now. Right now. And that doesn't mean that you go and you quit your job and you start doing yourself a Jerry Maguire situation. You need to be smart and you need to be practical. And when I say practical, I mean give yourself enough time where you can save 3 to 6 months of salary. So if that takes you a year to do that, if that takes you, some time where you got to have some ramen noodles, if that means that if you get a quarterly bonus that you just stack that bonus and put it away in something you can't touch right away, or give it to somebody you trust, like mama, so that you can't get your hands on it, so that you have that money saved, so that you can go out and pursue your dreams, do that. But I don't want to hear it. When I was in my late teens and early 20s, the internet was something nobody knew about. The internet was so new, T. Smitty, when I was a kid, and when I say a kid, I mean almost 20, that my first homework assignment on the campus at Temple University was to send my stinking math teacher. And I remember she had the worst body odor because I don't know, for whatever reason, she ain't allowed to use deodorant. Literally, she ain't allowed to use deodorant. She said, I need you to send me an email. I'm like, who the hell is email? Like, I don't know him. Ooh. No. Email. You go to the library, you have your email account, and you go and you send me email. That's your account. I'm like, why the hell do you want an email? For what? What is it? What's the purpose? Then the internet began to grow. Like, there's no excuse for anybody right now. None. If you ain't great, it's your own damn fault. If you ain't great, you like the taste of bullshit. I'm sorry. because that ain't popular to say. If you are not great or you're not on your road to be great, it's your own damned fault. You got the internet. You can build an email list. You can build a funnel. You can get on YouTube. You don't need TV anymore. You don't need somebody's executive producer to tell you, hey, I'm going to take a shot on this person and put them on sight unseen because I think they got something that'll be beneficial to my audience. You could go right to the audience. Hell, Zuckerberg will let you sit up there and talk to a targeted audience if you know who you're trying to target. What is the holdup? The holdup is you. So yeah. If you're looking for permission granted. That's all I got this week, Teach Me. I ain't got nothing else, bro. You got anything else, bro?
Man, yeah, I say I know you got other people, but, and the thing is, it's like, what happens is people are told, like, sometimes you got to, I talk to the young people out there. Mm-hmm. Sometimes your circle of friends, your family, the family may mean well, but our folks came through an era where they had jobs to go to, like the plant or the government. Buying a home was easier. And even the grandparents, it was way different, So now it's hard to even find a job. Because you go through the interview process, you might not even know for 2 months if you ain't got the job.
For real.
and you've been moved on. That's happened to me. And so I just tell people is the way it is now is even in IT, it's hard. People think it's easy to get on the IT. It's hard to get on that stuff, too, unless you know somebody.
Yep.
And all they could do is just get you the interview. That's all they could do. Because if you send your resume on these sites,
yep.
And like recruiters told me, man, we going to read so many. So a lot of times your resume won't be read. And, oh, yeah, by the way, you can have 10 different recruiters read your resume, and they have 10 different ways how they like it.
Yep. If they like it at all.
That's what I'm saying. So you might as well keep it the way it is and roll with it, to be honest with you. Yeah. And so I look at it as like, let's say you might not make as much or you got to pay some benefits out your own pocket when it comes to being self-employed. But at the same time, you can get let go any day because like here in Arizona, it's an employment at will state. Mm-hmm. You get tapped on the shoulder any day.
Yep, for any reason. Anybody can get it. Like, I ain't had them kind of odds since I lived in the hood with my mom and my brother. Like, any day you could just be the one and they could just call you and be like, well, cuz why? That's why. Cuz go to hell, that's why. Cuz your tie is ugly, that's why.
And I know that you got other people. I'll say this real quick. Mm-hmm. Thanks for taking my call, by the way, and giving me that good game. But what happens is that a lot of people are scared of it not working. But a lot of times it's that you may not become rich like Zuckerberg because that's just like a once-in-a-lifetime thing that came up, that just happened. But at the same time, you can still possibly earn a good living and take care of your family. And also, I'm going to look at the black community, for example. That's a way how you can put other black people to work if you get, like the young brother Aaron, he can put people to work and maybe give somebody an opportunity, that young guy an opportunity. And so, and I'll say this real quick. I went to the Small Business Administration. Mm-hmm. And like I got, being a veteran, they can help you out with those whole loans and grants and stuff. And being a veteran really qualifies you with a lot of stuff. But what's the difference with like getting a business grant and a business loan, though?
Okay. Here's the biggest difference, and I'm not going to get into all the little things and the unsubsidized. Look, business grant means here's your money, do your thing, enjoy yourself. You don't have to pay it back. Loan, give me my money with interest. You're welcome. That's just what it comes down to in brass tacks technical terms. That's really all it comes down to.
And about business plans, are those things really like necessary, or?
Nope.
I've read different things on them.
Nope, I don't believe in business plans, and I know that's not popular, and people are like, oh, see, because basically what you're doing is you're taking leather, right? Let me break this down. You're taking leather, you're putting it on, you're walking out in the desert, and you're saying, it's been an hour since you've been gone. Baby, I'm begging, baby, I'm begging, begging, baby. If you want to be a bunch of little Jodeci's and a bunch of Keith Sweats and a little bunch of Oliver Twist talking about, please, Sal, look, somebody has to say, yeah, I think that what you're doing or what you plan on doing, and by the way, you just gave everybody the blueprint to do exactly what it is that you want to do, and you're giving it to people who have the means to do it without you, dumbass. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that? Why in the world? That's just like, you know what it's like? Go watch The Incredibles. There's this really good scene in The Incredibles where Samuel L. Jackson is talking to Craig T. Nelson, and they're talking about how they had the bad guy, and the bad guy has them all like tied up and whatnot, and then the bad guy starts monologuing. And that's when the bad guy starts talking about, oh, well, I was going to do this, and then I did that, and then I'm going to take my plutonium Q-45 3000 accelerating space modulator, and I'm going to destroy the moon. All that time that you so big on your damn self, talking about everything that you're doing, they steadily just the superheroes breaking out of their constraints, and the next thing you know, you're going away, because you could have got away with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids, and by meddling kids, I mean your raggedy ass mouth. Do not give everybody the blueprint for success for you. That is the dumbest thing you could ever do. I hate business plans, because here's the thing, right? You can give somebody your business plan, and they could not want it, legitimately not want it, but they still got your plan, and they can do it without you. If you think I'm lying, go and look at history. Okay, there was a health place years and years and years, I mean decades ago, like 100 years ago, and this health place had different and new and inventive new age ways to get healthy, and they had different like types of food and things that they would use. And one brother worked with his other brother, and they they came up with this thing, and it was like a paste, and it wasn't really working too well. So the one brother takes the paste, he dehydrates it, he bakes it, and he cuts it. And he cuts it into like these little teeny tiny squares, and then he bakes them again, and they begin to kind of curl up. And they became what you now know as cornflakes. Will you ever ask yourself why Post and General Mills has what Kellogg has? Because Kellogg let Post and General Mills know what time it was. Google this shit. I promise you, as smart as I am, I'm not creative enough to make this shit up.
Yeah.
My grandfather, God rest his soul, said, you want to hide something from somebody who looks like you, put them in a book. It's the truth. I know my grandfather to this day probably got money riding around in some of them Bibles and stuff over at his old house, God rest his soul. Because we don't like to read these things. I ain't got nothing better to do. Because I want to know. I want to know where the bones are buried. And what I'm trying to tell you is, when you're giving somebody a business plan, what you're saying is, here's my stuff. I hope that you like it. And please, if you don't, please don't steal it. What you think they're going to do? If they can cut you out, they will.
Like you was talking, got me thinking. And it's like, you can find a lot of, not like you said, Incredibles. I watched this Batman and Robin, like that little DC animated movie. Mm-hmm. And Robin, when Batman found out he had a kid, but what happened? He was like looking at following some criminal, and he found this back way through. And Robin was like, "How did you know about this?" He's like, "I make it my business to know." And I was just like, "Damn, all right." And that's something that people got to get to know, and it's like making my business to know. And they like the business ideas, they like the business ideas. You see these kids now who are IT savvy aren't even going to college; they're just creating apps.
Yeah.
And if it sells, they sell. They do something else. They make another one. Because college, man, if I had a kid right now, man, I wouldn't even recommend going to college.
Nope. I have a kid right now, and I don't recommend her going to college. The only reason I want her to go to college, it's not for the education. Yeah. I'll tell you that. It's for the experience. My oldest, for the first part of her life, grew up in a place where, everything was hunky-dory. No pun intended. So she needs to see, and I try my best to show her what the real world looks like. You know what I mean? And I feel like parents have two different duties. Like, a mother is there to nurture and encourage and inspire. A father's main job, aside from provisions, aside from discipline, is to provide the microcosm for what the world views from expectation standpoint. Meaning, I'm the one who's going to push you. Not saying my wife doesn't push my kids, because she does. But I'm the guy who's going to tell you the world don't give a damn how you were raised. The world don't give a damn about your personality type. The world cares about two things. Can you do it? And by doing it, will it make me money? Other than that, I don't care. And make my money can also be interchangeably used with, can it solve my problem?
Yep. Man, you're right on that. And it's like, I look at it, because I was doing, got gone to like, job fairs are crap. You go to these networking functions, they're crap.
Yep.
We're looking for jobs. A job nowadays is winning the lottery. And nowadays, people are stuck in jobs they can't stand because you're not going to find anything better. Nope. It's hard to even find a job. You get let go to find a job that pays you comparable to what you made. And also, they'll tell you that sometimes you'll take a lesser job, just pay the bills. They'll say you're overqualified. And it's like, it's a racket, man. And it is a racket. And I wish more people would do it, because they say, oh, God, they work hard and get a good job. There are millions of people out here who are working hard and busting their butts out here, but they stuck at a call center, or they just stuck making like $16 an hour. And the benefits suck nowadays, too, for the record, when a lot of these jobs also. The benefits aren't even good unless you're in government. So there's no reason why some people, especially our people, get started, especially all the challenges that we face.
Said a word there, good brother. And it's true.
All right, well, hey, yeah, you're right, man. And it's tough, and see what happens, people are so afraid, oh, it's going to fail. Man, Vince McMahon, the XFL fell. Yep. And that company still grew. And they actually put some guys in the NFL, like the He Hate Me guy, did like a 5 or 6 year run. Yes, a couple guys made the NFL off of that.
Yep.
And ESPN had the ESPN phone, which flopped. They didn't stop ESPN, even though they dropped it for other reasons.
Yep.
But like, I'll use WWE for example, how Vince McMahon took a risk. And like the WWE Network.
Yep.
And it's like, now you see, because people say, oh, $1.5 million. That's a lot of people paying $10 a month for a niche, niche
program. Yep.
Yeah. And so now you saw HBO Go. You don't have to have HBO on your cable now. You got all this other stuff kind of breaking off now, saying, hey, you don't need to have cable to do this. It all started with Vince McMahon putting his ass on the line.
Yep.
On that.
See,
and the one thing yeah, go ahead.
The thing of it is, right? Everybody talks about who the pioneer is. Everybody loves talking about the pioneer. We love to celebrate, and this is no shot against Vince McMahon, who is a huge inspiration in my life for several reasons. But let's look at history for a minute. We talk about the Pilgrims. We don't really talk about the settlers who came after the Pilgrims had to undergo, getting scalped. We talk about everything but. And the truth of the matter is, we need to start looking at situations for what they are. Pioneers get scalped. Settlers prosper. Pioneers get scalped. Settlers prosper. The first follower is more important or more successful than the first pioneer, because the first pioneer has to take all the risk. Roger Bannister. Most people don't know who Roger Bannister is, but he's one of the most important figures, and it's funny that I mentioned him during Olympic seasons. Roger Bannister was about to kill himself at one particular point because he couldn't qualify. So 4 years later, he gets himself up out of his depression, and he qualifies. And do you know what Roger Bannister is famous for? He is he's the first documented person to ever run a 4-minute mile. Scientists said it was impossible for a human being to be the type of physical specimen to run a mile in 4 minutes. They said it was impossible. Scientists were wrong. Scientists killed George Washington. Scientists said that George Washington had too much blood in his body and they needed to drain a lot of it out. That's how he died. So when you talk about that, right, after Roger Bannister broke that 4-minute mile, then you started seeing kids from the hood breaking it. Some little kid in Wisconsin in the daggone dairy farm is breaking it. Another kid over in Nebraska husking corn just decides to go running off, and he turns into the daggone Flash. I'm being facetious, but my point is there are a whole bunch of people who bust that 4-minute barrier after Roger Bannister did it, because somebody has to see that it can be done in order for it to be done. I'm telling you, I would rather you be the person that says, I'm the one who's going to do it, because there's power in that. And no, you might not necessarily get all the accolades, but guess what? 9 times out of 10, you'll be happy and successful, and your kids will benefit. Start thinking about your legacy. Start thinking about what you're leaving to your kids. And for the love of God, what's wrong with you morons? Why don't you have life insurance? Please explain that to me. I need to get a life insurance expert on this phone. I'm going to do that probably in the next couple of weeks. I actually know somebody. How do y'all not have life insurance? Do you know the majority of white folks who did not come from money got their wealth from life insurance policies? Hello? Ding dong, McFly. Hello?
When I was in the Air Force, it was $27 a month for a $450,000 policy.
For real?
And that was a Mac E7. For those know the listed ranks, who got killed in Afghanistan. So his wife and his kids got that $450 because of the line of duty. And so the things that you could do, you could knock out, even your kids won't go to college, you could at least knock out college so they won't have that student loan debt, or a couple $1,000 to put on for a house, or so they can have rental property, loans for probably start a business and stuff. A lot of things you could do with that, and most importantly, you could bury the person.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, please, do me a favor. Anybody who's listening, in case I die and someone tries to dispute this, I want y'all to make sure, my wife will know this, but just in case somebody loses their minds out here. If I die, play this tape. I, David Anderson, being of sound mind and body, do not want to be buried. I want to be cremated. I want y'all to play my favorite songs. I want y'all to talk trash about me. I want y'all to be happy. Do not bury me. Burn me, put my ashes up someplace, and then get them turned into diamonds so my baby can wear earrings out of me. Real
And it saves a lot of money. And it saves a lot. He get a couple $100 to get cremated.
Exactly.
Funerals cost like most of the down payment for a car.
Right.
And so you could go ahead, and it's like... that actually gets your people to start. My mom even said cremating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, I'm just glad they didn't put me in a burlap. I just say just don't put me in a burlap sack and dump me in the Alabama River. That's all I ask for. Hey, tell you what, my mama found out because my mom and dad were my beneficiaries at the time for my insurance policy, and I was like, Mom. I was like, well, why are you cooking all of a sudden now? Oh, you must have got that letter saying the insurance went up, huh? They're going to make the dog sniff the plate first. But, man, I just want to say thank you for, telling me all this today. I'm thrilled, man, because a lot of times is that people, how do I say this? People don't know where to go. It's like people know where to go, Google it, but it's like, sometimes you get that real talk to someone who will tell you the truth about things, right, instead of people who are just trying to say what you want to hear. And I think that messes a lot of people up in the business world also, because it's hard work out there to start a business. No one ever says it's easy, but look how hard it is to find that job. Look how hard it is to even score a phone interview.
Huh. Boy, you didn't said that.
I'll say this. Look at LinkedIn, for example. I don't know anyone who ever got a job off LinkedIn.
Yeah, me neither.
So okay, you connecting with people for what?
Right. Like, people love that. You know what? There's a colleague of mine who actually does do a lot. Her whole thing is about LinkedIn and hooking up with people and using those relationships to make things happen. I don't know how it works, so I'm not going to poo-poo it, but I'm going to say for me and my business as it stands right now, LinkedIn is not a factor, but that does not mean that it does not have some value. But from what I see right now, first of all, I'm not looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really pressed.
Yeah, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard out here. Not to mention, I got to sit around here. Look, it's just, there's something about me that I don't like to be ponied around. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm a gift horse. First of all, I'm growing my mohawk back. I'm growing my beard back, and I'm going to grow it out heavy because I want a nice epic beard, not like Freeway. Like half the size of Black Thought from the Roots, if you've seen his beard lately. Like half that size. Then I'll be good. But I don't want to have to conform to somebody else's ideal of what professionalism is. I don't. And I shouldn't have to. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes,
for me,
yes.
Yeah, I'm not here for that. So I'm not looking for a job. And that's another thing. And I will tell anybody, I love Steve Harvey and I love Steve Perry and I love what they do for our people. Especially young folks out here. But to tell them that their dreadlocks or their mohawks aren't professional, who are they trying to impress? You know what I mean? Like, we have to love on us. We don't have to go and put approval on anybody else. So yeah, that's awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get started. I got the commission, so I got start building this website on GoDaddy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they're not gonna be super fancy, It's just something there will be easily accessed, and it's not gonna be a Jack in the Box menu. Put it like that.
Yo, you know what, bro? Let me tell you something. If you want a really good website, I happen to know somebody, and I'm actually going to give her a shameless plug. She didn't even pay me to do this. But I just feel like, when I'm compelled to do something, like the other day I made a video, I don't know if you saw it, but I was compelled to make a video just to kind of explain my life to people a little bit. This lady, I've worked with her in other places. She is a phenomenal web designer. Her name is Bree Campbell. And I'm going to give you her number because if you're going to spend all that money on GoDaddy and, you might as well spend all that money, with one of ours. Somebody who's trying to make it. So let me give you her number. It is 26.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Grab me a ink.
Yeah, you grab an ink pen. I'm going to repeat the number. So if you guys are looking for a website out there, call Bree Campbell and tell her the business bully Dave Anderson sent you. The number here is 267-974-8980. 267-974-8980. That's Bree Campbell. She does phenomenal work. She will make sure your site is mobilely optimized, and she will give you exactly what you're looking for. T. Smitty, I got folks calling in, man, so I'm going to holler at you in a few, brother.
All right, man. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for the help, man.
Hey, man,
take it easy.
You take care. Later.
All right, bye.
Yes, indeed. See, I love it when people just, they call and they do their thing and they call up and they say what's up and they ask questions and we're getting stuff done. I'm with that. Y'all know I love that because that means that I'm doing something right. When people are asking questions and talking. So, yeah, man, that's dope. So let's get this thing cracking, man. I want to answer like one or two more questions before I bounce out of here today. I think it's important. And also, man, make sure you're checking out all these other podcasts and stuff that I'm doing for folks, man. Royally Melanated, they just put up a podcast with me on there. You can search that. It's I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty cool because I know I talked about a lot of good stuff. And I'm always down to help folks because, well, damn it, somebody had to help me. And I don't know if you know what it's like being me, but if you don't, it's kind of crazy, so I definitely appreciate anybody who takes the time to come holler at me and do what's necessary and just kind of see what's what. You feel me? Because I just feel like that's important, so yeah, I'm always honored and I feel privileged to be where I am doing what it is that I love to do. I really do. So a couple more things. I want you to know that we have to be more patient with ourselves. And when I say this, I'm speaking to myself too, because sometimes I'm not exactly patient with myself. We think that everything is going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. This is a process. It takes time. I remember when I got the idea for Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat, I was actually working on my my Nutrisystem account at the time, and I remember being there, working side by side with some really great people and giving a lot of ideas to folks who saw some and didn't quite get it. But I got to tell you, man, that book was going to be a bestseller. If I had known that, I'd have wrote it a lot sooner and a lot faster. It's the Business Bully Show. Who I got on the phone?
Hi, Dave. This is Nina.
Hey, Nina. What's happening?
Life.
Well, life is good. Oh, for those of y'all who don't know, this is Nina Keys. Nina Keys owns and runs the Philadelphia Cheesesteak Tour. If you have not come to Philly or you're looking to come to Philly and you want to try like some of the best cheesesteaks in the city and get yourself a really awesome tour with a really awesome tour guide, y'all should check out Nina. And I'm going to have Nina on the show later on. But yeah, oh, by the way, Nina's single and really, really good looking. So fellas, if you're looking for somebody, this is somebody you want. I'm just saying. So just book yourself a cheesesteak tour. Just let people know where they can just book the tour so they can try and get a date. I mean, try and take the tour.
Well, you can find Philly Cheesesteak Tour at www.phillycheesesteaktour.com to book your tour.
Yes.
If you have any questions about the tour, you can call 215-432-2096.
Right. Yeah. Because like I said, she's single. I'm just saying. So what's your question, huh?
So basically my question is in regards to delegating responsibility. I believe that many business owners, we have this thing in our head, this is our baby, and we want to make sure that things go well, especially with a small business. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times we end up doing things ourselves because either we don't have confidence in other people to actually do the thing that we need to have happen, or we just don't know where to go, who to speak to, where to look for help. So how do you address delegating responsibility and then asking for help in the business when it's your baby and you may or may not be open to that?
Okay. I'm with you, and I'm glad you asked that question because, believe it or not, you're not the first person who's asked me that question. The first person actually asked me that question on January 2nd of this year. I remember because I was doing the Pitch, Close, Upsell, Repeat tour, and I did a workshop for a buddy of mine in Baltimore, Maryland. So I hopped the train, went down there, and I was at the Q&A portion of my talk. And she said, well, Mr. Anderson, what you're saying is great, but, my business is my baby and this, that, and the third. I said, okay, let's stop this. I said, Miss, are you a mother? And she says to me, yes. I said, well, I'm a father. And I love my children. Both of them. They both get on my nerves in very unique and distinctive ways, but I love them. I said, now, pretend for a moment that I'm not David Anderson. Pretend that I'm not an author. Pretend that I'm not a speaker. Pretend that we're not here. Pretend that we're in a cave somewhere in ancient Saudi Arabia. Okay? And pretend that you stumbled into this cave and you trip over a lamp and you look at what you tripped over and you rub on it and I pop out of that lamp. And I'm a genie. And before you tell me what your wish is, I already know. I'm going to turn your business into a physical baby. So it'll be a physical child just like your other physical children. Now, if I were to take a gun to one of your children, or if I was to take the gun to this business that is now personified as a child, which one would you have me shoot? And you can't keep both. There's no wishing for other wishes. There's no way around it. You got to pick one. Who do you pick, Nina?
Wait. I'm choosing between my baby and my business?
Correct. One of them's got to go. I got to shoot one in the head right now. Who's it going to be?
It's going to have to be the business. You can't kill my baby.
Oh, but wait. I thought the business was your baby. Hello?
It's my baby in a different way.
No. Your business is almost as important to you as your cat. Okay? Let's just call it what it is, okay? Because if the business went up in flames, if all of a sudden cheesesteaks gave everybody feline AIDS or something that they couldn't come back from, you'd have to find another way to continue. You can't replace your child. It's not the same. So now that we stop making this connection between what we carry for 9 months or what we nurture and wipe its ass versus what we spend our time in, because what you're really saying is I put so much work in this and I love the work that I do that I'm afraid that if I give part of this to someone else that they are going to somehow muck it up. Here's the truth. Sometimes The people that you delegate to will make mistakes. No one will ever do for your business what you would do for your business. You have to be okay with that. Now, delegating responsibility does not mean that you give up being in charge. It does not mean that you give up overseeing. What it does mean is there are menial tasks that you don't need to be doing. You don't need to be answering the calls. Okay? You need to start training people to take over doing the majority of the tours for that business. You ought to be somebody who can come along and do what you do, because God forbid, what if you get pneumonia? Business suffers. Right. Somebody's got to be able to step in and do those things. Especially if you're growing and thriving, then it's time. And you have to be okay with the fact that people don't do things the same way. My wife and I, if we butt head on one thing, we butt heads on the fact that I have my way of getting to the top of the mountain, and she has her way of getting to the top of the mountain. Same mountain. I prefer a rope and a pickaxe. She prefers those suction cups. What works for her is working for her. See, she can do suction cups. I do suction cups because I'm 300 plus pounds. Ain't gonna work the same. But it's the same mountain. It's the same goal. We just have ways that work for us. And I have to be okay with the fact that she likes to use her suction cups, and she has to be okay with the fact that I use a rope and a grappling hook. You have to be okay with someone doing something different, because I don't care if it's 3 plus 1 or 2 plus 2, they all come out to 4. As long as the goal is the same and the work is getting done, you're not losing money because of it, you're actually saving time because of it, let it go. Sorry, I know that's not what you wanted to hear. You wanted me to say, that's your baby, and you better not let nobody, and you got to find the right person, you got to screen them 30,000. Look, man, first of all, people are finding babysitters on the internet now. Stop. There are plenty of qualified people right now who could easily come in and do the things that you would want them to do. You put things in place to protect yourself. You put in non-compete clauses. You put in morals clauses. You put in things in their hire agreement to make sure that you're protected, so that you can protect the business and actually get some damn rest, because you've earned it. Sorry, I ain't got time to answer emails. Somebody else can do that. Sorry, I don't have time to work on SEO anymore. Somebody else can do that. Sorry, I don't have time to do Facebook ads for myself anymore. Somebody else can do that. That's okay. Now, as far as finding those people, they're everywhere. But if you want somebody who doesn't have any bad habits, who doesn't have much to lose and everything to gain, young people who are about sophomores or juniors in college, preferably juniors. Seniors are worried about being on the way out. Sophomores are kind of there, but freshmen are so busy getting acclimated they don't get it. But that junior spot in college, those juniors, they're ideal. Grad school kids would be great if they didn't have to worry about their thesis or turning in 30-page papers, which would cause them to sleep at night because they're still young and they're still off, making love to everything that walks. So, juniors in college, that's my personal advice.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Yes, indeed. And again, PhillyCheesesteakTour.com, Nina single. Make sure that y'all go on a tour and check out. Look, I'm trying to help them out. There's some really good brothers out here who need a good woman who got her own money. She really got her own money, y'all. Like, no, for real. Like, she got her own. She not just saying that. She ain't talking about, I'm an independent woman. Like, she ain't got to announce it. She just does. That's what y'all need out here, Phil. I'm trying to help y'all out. You're welcome. PhillyCheesesteakTour.com. Nina, thank you so much for calling. I definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, you know me. If I know you, I'm going to put you on the spot because I don't care. Listen, man, I have done an hour and a half show. It's a long-ass show. So, listen, I'm going to say good night. And hopefully that you're checking things out, man. Follow me on Facebook at The Business Bully. You can look me up there. Also, The Business Bully on Instagram, DA Business Bully on Snapchat, My Inner Brand on Twitter. I am out of here. If you got any questions, you can always email me, bullyquestions@gmail.com. I will check y'all out next time, all right? Peace.
Follow us on Twitter at My Inner Brand. Thanks for listening to the Business Bully Podcast. We'll talk to you next time.